Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Hey, Young and the Restless fans, I've got your early weekly spoilers for March 9th through the 13th. We're going to talk about Victor's despicable deed and Phyllis being really tempted. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not following us, reach down, hit that subscribe button. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week and then dive into what is coming the week ahead. With that in mind, on Wednesday, March 4th, we've got Daniel asking Kane how he plans to turn things around for Phyllis because Kane is trying to sell himself in this scenario as some sort of problem solver and peacemaker. So he tells Daniel that Phyllis has a hollow victory because she's alone and has lost her kids, and Kane thinks Phyllis would stop the madness and give things back if Daniel and Summer and Lucy were back in her life. And Daniel says, "Can you guarantee that?" And of course he can't. But Kane says that Phyllis is heartbroken and needs their forgiveness. And Daniel realized Kane is doing this because Victor supposedly kidnapped Lily and the kids. Kane doesn't lie about that, but says Phyllis needs more in her life than just Newman Enterprises. And Daniel says Kane's wasting his time because his mom doesn't care about them and says that forgiving Phyllis would just allow her to avoid feeling bad about everything she's done because she's so power-hungry. Kane claims to get the pain that Phyllis is going through because of his own kids, and Kane begs Daniel at least talk to Phyllis. So Nick has gone missing, and Victor, Mickey, and Victoria talk about it. But then guess what? Nick shows up and says he had his phone off while he went to LA to get info on where Matt Clark is hiding, but says he didn't find anything. And Matt, of course, has gone off the grid since Victor took everything from him. So Victoria and Nikki are actually happy that Nick didn't find Matt. So they were worried that Nick would wind up arrested, and Victor says Matt unfortunately has the upper hand right now because they can't find him. And Nick wants an update on Newman Enterprises, and Victor says Phyllis still has the company and all of their assets. Victoria says Phyllis is now firing people that are very loyal to the Newman family. I'm sure she doesn't trust them. And Nick says Kane didn't deliver, so he wants to know what's next. And Victor says he has a better plan, and Nikki insists that he tell them what it is. But guess what? As usual, Victor won't tell them, but he says he should have done this from the start, and it's nothing to do with Lily. Oh no, it's so much worse. So Sally is over at Billy's, and she's back in his bed just like Audrey was worried about. He sucked her back in, and he wants to know if Sally's having second thoughts, and she tells Billy she's all in as long as he is not lying. So he promises he's not, and he won't. And Sally says she's okay with it, and Billy says even if he loses Chancellor, he'll still be there for her, which is very interesting wording because things are about to happen. So Billy is telling Sally he won't ever let her go. They toast to being a power couple, and she tells Billy he really hurt her when he left Abbotcom. Billy's sorry he felt like Sally hated him after that. Just a lot of back and forth, but they seem happy. But then Phyllis shows up to interrupt and tells Billy there's an issue with the contract on the Chancellor transfer. She says Sally's company is fine. The issue is with Billy's because it's multinational, and she makes excuses. And Billy is immediately on high alert and thinks she's going to do him dirty like she did Kane, and like how Kane did Billy. Phyllis insists things are fine, it's just complicated, and says the lawyers will thank her for it in the end, and takes off. He tells Sally something's off with Phyllis, and things get more intriguing after Billy calls and leaves a message for Jack when he can't reach him because Victor texts Billy and says come to the ranch right now. Sally thinks Billy should ignore it, but he can't because he's hoping he might get some info for Victor that will give him an indication of what Phyllis is up to, so he heads out. Sharon tells Tessa she's got her hands full with Mariah and Noah, and then Sharon talks about wanting to see Arya and bringing Mariah along, but Tessa says this is not a good idea for her daughter, she doesn't want it. After Sharon is done with them, Daniel and Tessa go outside, and Daniel tells her about his chat with Kane Kane and is asking Tessa's advice, and she tells him that he should give Phyllis one last chance. So Daniel is wondering if Tessa is going to do that for Mariah and if he's going to lose her, but she reassures them, and Tessa says she already gave Mariah so many chances, and Daniel says he thinks he broke his mom's heart. Kane reports back to Phyllis that Daniel's considering it, but wants time. Phyllis tells Kane to go get Tessa to work on him, and he has a little bit of time because she hasn't completed all the paperwork transfer of Chancellor. So Nick catches Sharon up on his trip to find Matt, and she's wondering if the guy somehow left the country. Sharon thinks Matt is going to stay away from them to avoid arrest, but then Nick gets a text from Matt, goading him, saying he's sorry he missed him in LA. And Billy shows up to ask what Victor wants, and he tells Billy, give back Chancellor by the end of the day. And he says Victor's crazy, he's not going to do it. And then Victor tells Billy they will never ever see Jack again if Billy doesn't hand back Chancellor. Thursday, March 5th, Jack's in for a rude awakening, and I think this is literal, like he wakes up a captive. Victor reiterates his threats, and Kyle and Diane are horrified when Billy shows up and tells them that Victor snatched Jack, and he's demanding Chancellor back by the end of the day or else. Kyle springs into action. He may go to Claire. Friday, March 6th, Diane is also going to extremes to find Jack, and his world is turned upside down. Getting kidnapped was not on the Abbott's bingo card, and I'm wondering if Patty is involved. We'll see. Phyllis tries to reconcile with Daniel. Good news is, Tessa softened him. The week of March 9th through the 13th, we are going to have Matt wanting revenge on Sienna. Nick's a huge target, as are Sharon and Noah, and he's not nearly done. He's back on very soon. Lily is back this month. I wonder if Nate and Devin are going to find her and bring her home. Halden and Audrey keep getting closer. Billy and Sally are doing great, but if Billy doesn't hand over Chancellor, the company he stole, to get Jack back, I think Sally is going to be upset, especially since Billy just told Sally he would be happy with her even if he doesn't have Chancellor, and now that's immediately getting put to the test, which is very interesting timing. Nikki is going to be absolutely livid with Victor because he has abducted Jack. Remember, Nikki has been saying over and over that she was worried that Victor was going to go too far, and now he's gone and done it. I think he did the one thing that Nikki may actually not be able to tolerate, and I think Claire is not going to be happy either. Daniel is really considering giving Phyllis one last chance. Meanwhile, Billy, Diane, and Kyle are all frantically trying to track down Jack before it's too late. Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.